Nick, we can't hear you.
Can you guys still hear me?
You're like
cutting in and out.
breaking up.
Mr. Roboto.
You sound like Chevy Chase. Spies like
Yes.
S. And lunch date, so I must go.
Which may not have bearing on whether or not we're able to guess this.
He's gonna run this whole thing, and then we're gonna be like,
We didn't hear a word of that.
yeah,
dude.
that's
The
fake.
first one?
That's fake. It's fake. I don't know what to tell you. It's fake.
And after watching that much what we do in the shadows, it's hard to not want to speak the confidence of Lasso. Old chap, I've seen that show 1,000,000 times. Jackie Daytona watches a show, I'll tell you.
Episode 349 of the TV Dudes, recorded September 8th, 2021. A whole lot of murder. This week, there's just a whole lot of murder on Hulu. Sometimes it's vampires, like in What We Do in the Shadows Season 3. Sometimes it's also vampires, like in American Horror Story Double Feature. And sometimes it's probably not vampires, like in Only Murders in the Building.
You don't know that?
I don't know. Nathan Lane looks a little too young to me. There's something going on.
Yeah, that may just be how pale Martin Short is. I don't know.
But before we get to all that, I'm Randy.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Les.
And I'm Nick.
And we're the TV Dudes. Yeah, I was working on the theme this week, guys, and realized there's a lot of vampires on TV right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Lot
you know, it may be peak TV, but it still sucks.
Oh, I hate you.
Hulu's doing some great stuff right now. There's a lot of good stuff on Hulu right now. So yeah, this is a good week for me. I was pretty happy with my TV diary.
You know, Randy, I gotta say, you say this every week. You go, man, Hulu's got some great stuff. Like,
They do.
You gotta watch this on Hulu. I look at our TV rankings and everything says Hulu. You know that Hulu encompasses like 4 networks.
No, Hulu's
So,
a
like,
network, Kyle.
we're
What are you talking about?
Well,
What the
but
fuck
for
is
their
a
original
network?
content, they have partnered with FX, who we already knew. I mean, coined
Yeah.
the term.
I'm sorry. Wait.
peak TV.
What the
There's
fuck is
Hulu,
what the
then
fuck
there's
is a
FX
network?
on Hulu, and then there's FX not on Hulu. You
I
gotta
don't-
get the hierarchy here.
Is a network like a streaming channel? Is that what you mean? Because it's just one streaming channel, Kyle.
It's just
I don't know what you're talking about. There's
just
there's-
tech
for
jargony
dinosaurs.
shit. Yeah.
there's Hulu, there's Amazon, there's Netflix, I don't. You're not making any sense, Kyle.
I don't care where you bought the DVD from, you know? I mean, Best Buy or Circuit City or whatever they're called.
I don't have a CBS button on my remote. I have a Paramount Plus button on my remote because I bought my TV somewhere very strange.
You're going to have to explain to your grandkids, Randy, about cable. And they're going to be
Right.
yelling at you like, oh, wow, you didn't drink your medium? Oh, whatever. Lamos.
That's right. It wasn't fed straight through into your eye holes.
What's that Mystery Science Theater goo? Like it's on video Chrome or liquid King of Chrome. That's right. It was where the movie is on liquid. Flush them the movie.
Well, y'all, let's talk about what we watched this week with our TV diaries.
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
Who wants to go first?
Not it.
Not it.
I don't mind jumping and going first.
All right, let's do
With
this,
my-
Kyle.
TV diaries. I'm gonna sing the song. You'll probably hear quite a bit, but I watched the homework, the What We Do in the Shadows, the Only Murderers in the Building. Also, you know, filling up on that dessert, that Marvel What If, and
Mhm.
Ted Lasso.
Oh, we
Gotta
will
get my
have
fill on
dessert.
that.
We will have dessert.
Ooh.
Oh man, a lot more murder and what if for this week.
That's true. No vampires.
Because of COVID, I've actually been watching birthing classes on TV. So instead of like going to a place
Because
and
of
you know,
COVID or because you're having a child?
It'd be a lot weirder if you weren't having a kid.
Like, is this a COVID thing I need to be doing?
yeah.
yeah, you guys watching the classes?
Oh,
No.
fuck.
I mean, Texas is
Yeah.
getting pretty fucking weird. So
I mean,
No, normally you would go and take the classes somewhere with a person, but yeah, instead we have like a video class we've been doing at home. So we like pop popcorn and do it in replacement of like our movie afternoon.
From what I understand of Texas, you have to carry the COVID now till full term.
Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly right.
Yes.
That is
Required.
100%. Unless you're Joe Rogan, in which case you can get horse tranquilizers to
Right.
just knock that out.
Yeah, you just eat as
think-
much
yeah.
horse paste as you can.
But you can sue him.
That's legal.
You're pro anti-life.
Yes, pro.
I'm pro anti-life equation.
Nah, we don't do the equation bit here.
But the other thing, really the only other thing outside of that I cannot get enough of is Reservation Dogs on FX on Hulu, but not the Hulu only on FX. Available both on FX and Hulu. Reservation Dogs, produced by Taika Waititi, just kind of documenting the story of these young kids who are in kind of Midwestern USA and just, dream of like getting out of kind of their poor town situations. And as the season's going on, everybody's getting vignettes. The main character, Bear, got his own side story where we find out his dad is this Native American rapper who's just like a deadbeat.
Yep.
And yeah. And then he's
Big,
not a police sheriff, but that's just what we call cops
light
in
horseman.
TV shows when there's only one in the town. Yeah, he's the light horseman. But essentially he gets a backstory, and that might have been one of my favorite episodes so far.
Man, I gotta give this another shot.
Yeah, him and Cheese riding around was great.
It didn't quite grab me, but everybody seems to fall in love with this show.
And it's got another season, so we're not going away with it.
Yeah, and I forget the actress that plays the kind of the I don't even know how you would describe her, the more unique one in the group. But she gets a side story where we find out, and they may have alluded to this in dialogue, but it really hammers home. But her brother was the friend of theirs that died. And they go, gosh, it's this great story where she goes hunting with her dad, and essentially they just trespass on some rich dude's land to go hunting, like it's no big deal, and it's their family tradition. They're out there more than the family that owns the land.
Kyle, did you rewind it back to so at one point when they're on these guys' land, like the daughter's like, "What do you mean this is not our land?" And the dad's like, "No, I mean like we've always. Are you kidding me? You thought no? It's owned by these two guys from Texas, and they're never up here." And then these guys walk through, like they hear two people coming, and it's these two old ranchers from Texas up on their land. And the Texas ranchers' conversation walking past is just non sequitur single words. And so, like, they walk up, and one of them goes, "Longhorns, fire that coach. Encroaching liberalism, changes in the court, big government."
Yeah,
And like they just saying shit.
the
gays, and they just walk off, and like that's their whole conversation. I had to rewind it. I was like, okay, that's even more brutal than the old couple driving up the turnpike.
Yeah, no, it really kind of takes me back to being in high school and dreaming about kind of living in a big city, and my hoodlum friends I had and the shenanigans we would get into, even though nothing like what these kids have going on. Yeah, I'm really loving that.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, that's it for me.
What about you, Les? What you watching?
The homework. Then of course I'm keeping up with Lower Decks. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, of course. Ted Lasso. What If? Watched Ferris Bueller the first time in years.
Gosh, that's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, freaking
Still
10
hysterical. So fun. Also watched Pump Up the Volume for the first time in a while.
Did that hold up?
I still love that movie. It's still
Nice.
spectacular.
out. Huh.
I
Nice.
managed to get that shown to a portion of my 7th grade English class. And I stand by the fact that it is not like the teacher did not stop that movie, which it opens with dick jokes and anti-authoritarianism. So
That's
on
Christian
him.
Slater in the bomb shelter.
Yep, that's on Mr. Maxwell for doing that, and not screening that movie before I think it really stands to how goody two shoes nerdy I was in 7th grade that no one even thought that I could possibly. And I honestly was so oblivious that I was like, oh shit, do other parents not? Yeah, I was the kid with HBO. That's right. Fuck. So yeah, just great movie. I felt like it held up. Been watching this French Canadian show called Mintens 2, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing. 30-minute sitcom. It's like if you compress Shameless down, it's pretty brutal, but really sucked me in. I can't believe how much of a shit I give about these 3 characters. I'm into season 2 on it now, and like a bunch of crap's gone down. It's on Netflix. It's called Can You Hear Me? Is the English title. It's really good. I can't recommend it enough.
Nice.
Stargirl, 30 Rock, Parks and Rec. Evil's back, and that's been really fun. Definitely belongs on Paramount streaming. What We Do in the Shadows. Nobody mentioned this show to me. None of you, not a one of you. We do a TV podcast, guys. It's rude. I
I was
believe.
triggered as shit when I read that text.
Weren't you though?
I had to stop myself.
That's the fucked up part about it, is he did this to us for fucking Brooklyn Nine-Nine as
For
well.
Brooklyn too. I can't believe nobody told me about Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's so good.
And even though I know your intention is to make me mad, it still works.
It'll work. It's like Colin getting sucked in by the troll. So yeah, I've now watched like a bunch of What We Do in the
Oh
Shadows.
wait, so you made it to season 2 finale?
Oh, I've seen all of it now, up to where they are with season 3. Yeah, all
Oh,
of it.
that's
And it's-
fantastic.
I had heard from people who Guillermo's parentage was for a while, or heritage was for a
Oh,
while.
that's too bad.
But
It
and
is so obvious,
it
though,
is
when you
so
look
obvious
at the
through the whole
character
thing, the way he
design.
dresses, all of it. It's so good though.
It's like when you figure it out and you realize they've been dangling that joke in front of your face for an
Mhm.
entire season. It's just the most satisfying payoff.
When Colin gets crazy powerful is great. The witches, like all of it, it's just so good. Yeah, really shocked. We'll talk in a minute how much I liked Only Murders in the Building. And then on HBO they have all 3 of them, and so I went back and watched the first Hangover.
Interesting.
Oh,
How did that? I used to love The Hangover.
yeah.
Then the
that was like a,
sequels and the general broniest of it just kind of killed it for me.
In the first time I watched it, I remember thinking like, "Holy crap, the density! Like, there's just joke after joke after like every
Mhm.
bit of every situation in every scene. They've made sure that all of it's funny, and a third of those jokes didn't move forward real well.
hmm
hmm.
I wondered if it was problematic in retrospect.
Oh, I mean, and I haven't watched the second one, but
Mhm.
there's an entire whatever transsexual sex worker plot line that I'm sure doesn't hold up any better.
Oh man.
But then there's a few of the jokes that you just wouldn't make now. But I was really surprised overall. So much of it is basically slapstick,
hmm
and that shit's timeless.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And it almost hits a Jackass principle of like, the worse these guys are, they're gonna get the shit beat out of them. So like that's what kept Jackass going for me. Was like, I hate Johnny Knoxville. Man, I hate Johnny Knoxville. Or actually, I like Johnny Knoxville, but Steve-O seems like a prick. But give it a minute, they're gonna hit that prick in the face with a fucking brick, and everyone's gonna laugh. Like, how is that not wonderful? So yeah, The Hangover. I wouldn't know. I don't know that it held up, but parts of it are still funny.
Okay. All right.
Interesting.
Nick, hit me with what you got.
Oh, well, I actually ventured to the theaters. I know I was all nervous about it, but I for Shang-Chi. And I was all, scared, like, things aren't as bad as it is down there in Texas, but it's still not great up in north here either. But I'm an addict, and Daddy needs his fix. Because it's been like months since I've seen a Marvel movie in the theater. And the TV shows are great, but they're not the same. Like, What If isn't the same rush as watching the Marvel logo come up on a big screen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I continued watching Bravest Warriors, which is a show
Okay,
I highly recommend to anyone. It's an absurd show. Watch any episode. It does not matter. It almost has no... Like, there is a running narrative, but it's so complex and convoluted that I can't explain any of it. I found again my favorite part, which was the horse that saw into infinity.
Oh yes. Oh man, I forgot about that.
Me
This
too.
horse sees into infinity, and its eyes just go boop, and like it's out of it.
And it's frozen. Like, it's frozen
Yeah.
in a time as it observes oblivion and infinity.
But it's very much the like horror of staring at the like the horse looks like it is staring into the abyss.
Paralyzed Horse's Log, July 3rd, 3085. Every day I hear and I see eternity. I am frozen in awe of my knowledge of forever. But I belong only to one girl, Nowhere can I see more clearly than into her heart. When Beth feels heartbreak, I'm stranded in the Stygian void, helpless to comfort her, for I am just a horse.
So fucking weird. Also, it had one of my favorite time travel gags too, where someone is making a time travel machine. Like, are you sure that's a good idea? Like, I figured if it doesn't work out, future me will come back and stop me from finishing this machine. Not a second later, it just pops out of existence, bashes the machine with a wrench, and goes, "It doesn't work out." And then he fades from existence. And it's like, well, that's an idea down the drain. I kept watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They had the what was it? The renew your vows episode with Kevin and Captain Holt, which was so like I really was at the end of it. I'm like, I'm not I could cry at this. This is a comedy. This is ridiculous, but it is emotional and so. Like, what a healthy relationship of, like, I don't want you to give up on your work. I just want you to be here with me. And it's so...
When they started the season with them breaking up, and I realized immediately that, like, I didn't know I cared about this much, you motherfuckers, but don't.
No, but it's true because, like, Jake is right. It's like, we have to get our dads back together.
Yes.
Are you sure that's healthy? Like, no, Holt's our dad, the precincts are family, and Amy's like my mom. What? No, what did I say? You didn't say anything. What?
I felt like I thought they were moving in a direction where like everybody was gonna be off the force, but like Rosa's off being a PI. Jake has been suspended. I thought Holt was gonna retire. Amy's gonna I thought they were basically like, here's how they're writing everybody out, and it's just gonna be that, and maybe they're not. Then they brought him back. I'm like, okay, well, I guess he's not quitting.
But he and Amy are now transferred to run that pilot program, to change the face of policing somehow.
Yeah.
What if guys, I know this isn't happening, but let me have this.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's all What if it's all a smokescreen and it's not canceled, but they're going to change the show completely and they're going to make it so that it's about Holt and Amy running this thing to make the police better. And that's
the first television show that we get about internal affairs.
I want this to be the last time we speak of it, but please don't give me that level of hope for it to be ripped away from me.
I should tell you, there's no way in hell that's what they're doing. But
surely not. No.
Right, but now that you've said it, it will stay in my mind. Like, oh, maybe.
It's 2021 here. Don't expect good outcomes.
No, but weird shit can happen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, dude.
What do you guys think about the Boyle episode? What do you think about that Boyle?
I was just gonna say the
episode.
Boyle Legacy episode was so great.
Man.
Yeah, Game of Boyles was wonderful.
The one true Boyle.
He's the one true Boyle.
Yeah,
I can't How are you not you are the boiliest of Boyles?
That's not even genetic. That comes from cuddling for so long. Our bones get soft.
Super good. What else, Nick?
I watched Lower Decks. I kept up on. I think the latest one was this Mugatos, yeah, and it was really fun because they were dealing with Mariners, like a rumor that she was a Black Ops thing, which really tracked, and she was offended later that they believed it. Like, but you're a psychopath. Why would they not believe that? You are a crazy person. And they play it off of like, oh, we didn't think a badass like you would be friends with us. I'm like, no, don't sugarcoat it for her. Like, right? Yes, we believe you're a Black Ops murderer. But yeah, I also watched Justified. I kept up on that. And I really did forget but how much time they spend in what's his boss's name? Art's office. With him yelling at Rayland about the thing he did in the previous scene that he absolutely can't do.
Yep.
I was like, man, I forgot about this, but yeah, he gets yelled at a lot. Like a lot. He's like a good 25% of this show is in Art's office yelling about the other 75% of the shit Rayland's done.
There's like a zero budget version of Justified that's just recaps yelled at Rayland of shit you don't see.
You could do that. It's a bottle show. It's all in the office. Yeah, it's 2 actors. Yeah, you could totally do that.
I think that's what makes it kind of work, though, is that you get the cool stuff, but then you also get the, yeah, you can't fucking do that, though. Like, we know it's cool or whatever, but, like, you really can't threaten a suspect like that. What was it? When Duffy, he throws the bullet down at him after he kicks his ass. Remember that conversation we weren't going to have? This is it. He tosses down the bullet and he says, next one's coming faster. And I'm like, that was the coolest shit I've ever seen. And
You're a cop, though.
he has to explain that later when it comes and bites him in the ass. And the guy that he's explaining it to is like, wait, so what did you like? So you threw a bullet at him. I tossed it to him. He was on the ground. Why was he on the ground? Well, because I kicked his ass. Okay, and then what did you say? I told him the next one was coming faster. That's the coolest thing I've ever heard. You absolutely can't do that. Like, I love that even the IA guy is like, that is so fucking awesome.
Like,
but yeah, that's so
comeback
against
also.
the rules. You can't threaten a suspect that isn't involved in any investigation's life. You can't threaten a suspect that is involved in any investigation's life. That is not cool. And what does he say? He says, yeah, he got it off an episode of Matlock, which is so railing. I'm like, oh man, even the coolest stuff you do is from this old TV show you watched because you wanted to be a cowboy since you were like 12 years old. And then I watched Don't Breathe and Don't Breathe 2 with Stephen Lang, the blind guy movies, which were pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Don't Breathe 2 is it asks you to really sympathize and go with a murderous rapist from the first movie, is now he is the protagonist.
Yep.
But if you can get past that, it's a fun watch.
Stephen Lang, also an Avatar. It's bringing it full circle.
I was going to say, if you watch the NFL, you're used to cheering for murderous rapists. So,
ouch.
Oh,
no. What is that? Too dark?
Greg Abbott said we're going to get rid of all of the rapists.
Oh,
well, at least Stephen Lang didn't have a dogfighting ring.
All right. In addition to
a blind dogfighting ring.
No, stop.
Blind?
Nope. We're not. It's not time for Truth is Stranger Than Fanfiction yet.
The
Dick.
participants, even worse.
Oh God!
I can't even see it. I'm still betting on it.
Oh God! Yeah, it's just there for the sounds. It's so much worse than you think.
It's just ASMR dogfight.
It's ASMR dogfighting. Jesus.
On a bad weekend, we just have a really hungry guy get into some meat, and then we play some dog whimpers.
In years. It's just speakers. Standing in a circle.
Bunch of Foley artists chopping lettuce.
It's Foley art. It's two Foley artists going at it in the middle of this thing.
You see, we're ripping off blind people, but they're horrible blind people, so it's okay.
One guy's got a whole bag of lettuce.
It's just the voice actors for Scooby-Doo and...
Oh no!
Did that dog say ruh-roh? Oh, okay, we've gotten way, way too much mileage out of that.
Worst rule of Right Club.
What I watched this week, in addition to what y'all have talked about, I caught up on Evil, which I dug that silent, mostly silent episode, which I thought was very clever. I caught up on Star Trek Lower Decks. I watched all the homework, and I also watched Shang-Chi in the theaters, which we're going to talk about on the Patreon. And I watched a couple movies. I watched Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman. I was looking to go see a movie on Friday. The theater was a little crowded, so instead we chose to look on HBO and see what was available. I was scanning through HBO to see what was new. What was on there, newly added. And when I got to that, Megan audibly gasped, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I haven't seen that." And she's like, "We're watching that right now." So that was good. I liked it. Then she picked Batman '89, which I watched and loved. I was fun to revisit that. And then the next day we went and saw Free Guy in the theater, which I really loved. And we'll talk about at some point. Caught up on Stargirl. I think I'm an episode behind now, but I'm actually really digging Stargirl. Started diving back into White Lotus, so I saw another episode of that. Watched another episode of Kevin Can Fuck Himself, which I think I've got 2 more left. But I'm actually kind of digging that. I don't know. Les, did you ever follow through on that?
Yeah, no, I still need to finish that out now that we've got our AMC back.
But I'm enjoying it. I think I was worried from the outset there was going to be too much of the dumb sitcom.
Yeah, me
but
too.
they sprinkle in just like a tiny amount of it. I'm usually annoyed by its existence. Like I don't need any of that shit. But they don't overload it, so I'm okay with it.
And they got a season 2, I think. Somehow.
Interesting. Okay. And then I randomly just kind of started watching Key and Peele again. I just randomly popped into season 2, and man, I'd forgotten how great season Key and Peele. Like you remember the sketch, you remember the big sketches, you remember the East West Bowl, the substitute teacher, all that stuff. But they had all these little tiny short sketches that are hilarious, and they had this interstitial where the two of them would talk to the audience. I mean, I'd forgotten all that. This is before they were both like big superstars. They were just a couple of guys making TV.
Yeah, just Keegan bagging on Jordan Peele for smoking weed.
But they're also they're so
That's
fucking,
a great sketch.
they're so fucking talented from the outset that I'm watching these two guys and I'm like, man, we are watching like pros play at this like amateur level right now, and it's crazy. And I'm enjoying going back and seeing all these sketches that I've forgotten, and seeing the chemistry they have, which makes me a little sad they don't work together more still. They've both kind of gone off in their own direction and working, and they're both great separately. But I want more Key and Peele together. I would love a reunion or something on that.
I agree with
I
you,
love that
Randai.
after that show, I love that those guys both wrote their own ticket and did like kind of different things, really, if you think about it.
Totally.
And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I could see where if I was really successful with a partner like that, I might feel like, oh no, maybe I should start doing horror film stuff now, just, to keep the team together.
But if I'm the
It's
guard,
just kind of cool to like see them do their own thing.
Yeah. All right, so that's TV Diaries. Let's do our other regular segment. Truth is stranger than fanfiction.
Imagine, if you will, a reality containing television programs so bizarre they are indistinguishable from the ravings of a madman. Is the show you are about to hear simply a fabrication in the mind of a man with clearly nothing better to do with his time? Or is the truth indeed stranger than fanfiction?
You think Mandy is mad at us? We skipped a week.
She didn't say anything to me, but that maybe it's because she's not talking to me.
Oh,
but
silent treatment. I mean, she's really mad.
Last week, you didn't truth or strength?
She did send me some TikToks, so that's not the complete silent treatment.
I had Bravest Warriors episode all lined up, Les, but now I can't use it because.
Right. No, we skipped it last week just because we had a lot of stuff to get to, and we were crunched for time.
Yeah, I actually don't know whose turn it is then, since we.
Well, Les wasn't here. It's Les's turn.
Yeah, I'll pick.
Les's turn. Screw it. Your letters are I and Y.
Why?
All right.
Why not, Les?
That's the letter I pick. It's not just a question.
So this show is about a harem again, because if it's not about a high school, it's about a harem or a high school harem, or harem high school. That would actually be a good name for an anime.
Harem, hardly know.
Anyway, this one is a woman. She gets, of course, sucked into another world like they always. I like that animes don't even explain why they're doing that anymore, apparently. Like the last 3 animes I watched, they have someone getting transported into another world, and they hardcore don't explain it. Like, there's just, nope, you're good at games, so we're going to put you in this game world. Wait, who did it, though, and why is it a different... No, just, it doesn't matter. They just did. I mean, at least the reincarnation by the slime, the guy died and was reincarnated into a weird thing. So, like, at least something, like, there's a system to it. But this one is a girl. She gets transported into another world, and it is a meritocracy. That means the women are in charge, and the men are basically, not in charge. We don't learn they're slaves until later, but that's what they are. They call them servants, but they're straight up slaves. And apparently it's a kind of a contract thing. Like if you have this harem that she inherits, she's kind of a special, like, I don't know, they're like a special team that goes and solves problems in supernatural ways. Like this is there's werewolves, vampires, and like Japanese demons, oni, that sort of thing. And they go around and solve these problems. They're like that team, and they need a human woman in order to do it for some reason, I'm sure will be later, that she's the special one, Harry Potter. I don't know. I'm not at that point yet. But the people there's one that is a vampire who is also like, they all have subservient jobs as well. And this one is the cook. So he keeps cooking, and he doesn't drink blood from people, not directly. He makes rice balls, with those little rice bowls. Have you ever heard that? What, they have little jelly in them? Well, it's that, but there's blood in there. So they're blood balls.
Sure.
Yeah, and he is, of course, just has vampire powers, pretty strong, fast. As long as he's in a contract with someone else, a servant's contract is what they call it. And if he's not, doesn't have a servant's contract, he doesn't have access to all those powers for some reason. It's like this world. It's what I thought is interesting, is that when you are subservient, you are more powerful, which I thought was kind of a neat, play on it. And I thought they would play that up, but no, it just got fucking weird. But
wait, this isn't Truth is Strange fan fiction. This is what I want. This is Professor Marston, the Wonder Woman. I heard that in that movie.
Yeah, right. Like
when you submit, you're more powerful. I heard it. This is Professor Marston, the Wonder Woman. I got it.
See, that's the idea. I thought when I was watching this, I was like, but yeah, they what's the other one? They have a succubus maid who you don't have to have sex with her. She very much wants to, though. And it does not matter that a female owns her or whatever, like has the servant's contract. It's like, oh no, that's cool. Like, I just have to do the maid and cleanup stuff so I can have my power. The sex is just optional, and I very much would like to. You are very attractive. Please have sex with me. She's very formal about it, and upfront, which I find refreshing. Oh, right. There's the accountant. He's my favorite guy. He's a Kappa. Do you guys know what a Kappa is?
Turtle?
Yeah, they're kind of like a turtle demon.
Like a sorority that snaps instead of clapping, I think.
No, they're a turtle demon that's got this like a bowl on top of their head with water, and if the water falls off, they like die or something.
Yep.
But this guy, he has a bowler hat on that seals up, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
That's smart.
Which I've never Kappas can just wear hats. I never thought that's a really simple solution. I don't know why they don't all do that. He's also a ballroom dancer. He's lest you look horrified. What are you doing?
Looking up Kappas.
Stop doing that.
Is this why they're Koopas in Mario? I did not know that.
It could
Let's don't go down this hole, all right? I'm the one that looks this up.
This turtle hole is getting real weird.
Don't do that. Please, for the love of God, come back to us. He also is the accountant. That's his actual job, subservient wise to the lady. And he's got a bunch of water power or whatever, but my favorite part is where he's talking with some rival banker or something to talk about their finances, because apparently they actually need to finance this attack, this Captain Planet team, which I thought was wow, they never talk about this, the finances behind it. But this guy, he slaps the banker in the face like a duel, right? Only he uses a gold brick to do it. He gold bricks this guy across the face and talks about how poor of an accountant he is. And apparently that is the ultimate banker slight, is to be hit with currency, and the more valuable the currency, the greater the insult.
Now you know.
Concussion.
Been banking wrong this whole time.
He's just hoping that they don't have platinum lying around, or this is going to be like a blood feud. Yeah, so the part that it was all fun and games until the part where she actually reads the contract and it's like, wait, the verbiage here is weird. It says that as long as you your owner is happy with your service, you get granted these powers and get to live. Is that me? Yes. Wait. And it turns out they're not contracts, actually. They're bill of sales. She owns these people. And I was like, and of course, it's an anime. They say it in one episode and then kind of go off at it later. They don't really bring it up, but it makes the rest of the show very horrifying in context. Especially when later we figure out that they actually captured her. I didn't know where she was originally when she got transported, but she's from America that owns a bunch of minority characters.
Oh, that's not good.
It like,
Nope.
yeah, okay, I can only assume these guys are Japanese, and it's, that
I feel like this happens a lot where like 3 or 4 people are writing on an anime show, but they've never met. And it's not until like an audience member goes, "Wait, you put what 3 things in a show?" No.
You can't do that. You just can't do that.
yeah. But apparently the way it's so weird because they have like they go into this thing of like, oh yeah, I knew I was going to be owned by you when I was a little kid, and I was so excited about it because I didn't have to worry about who was going to own me, because there's some bad people out there, and I was like, wait a minute, so you were banking off the shot that this granted Savior Chosen One was supposed to be like, I get that you were excited as a kid, but this could have easily gone badly for you, dude. And no, he said that he didn't have to be sign a contract until he was 18. He signed it. He sold himself to her when he was 12, so that he was not worried about it because he couldn't handle not being owned by someone.
I'm going to suggest a change in format to this segment. I think we should do a thing where one of us can buzz for when we're deeply uncomfortable.
Isn't it
with
really
what is
uncomfortable?
happening? There's a point at which I'm just shaking my head in horror as you continue to tell me things.
And I think they're making it a romantic thing because they bring it up in this one episode and then never again.
Yeah, Charles Dickens' once and future king is real weird here.
So it's like, it's okay because she's owned him before they've even met. So
none of that is okay.
It's bad. Oh, it's real bad. I don't know what the message here is at all, but I feel like it's gross.
Nick, I think this is real and I'm upset about it.
Yeah, I figured you would, Randy. Randy, you didn't seem the slavery type guy to me.
The detail of the kappas being in it is what sold me. I'm like, Nick wouldn't just randomly throw kappas into a thing. I feel like that's what makes it real.
I also think this is real. Not
unless that kappa was followed by Chino.
Because I think because I think that Nick would
Fuck
have
you, that was good.
more details. Like I honestly think this would be worse if you were making it up, or at least more complete. Like I think the fact that he sounds disturbed by it, and also that he doesn't have all the knowledge yet, like some of it hasn't been doled out. I think this might be real.
I think you may be right. Kyle, what do you think?
Total opposite end of the spectrum of you guys.
Interesting.
I think
okay.
This has been cleverly designed to check all of those boxes in terms of weird anime.
Are you trying to fool us? Is this just some game to you, Nick?
Bit on the calculated side. I think this might be created in a lab of the imagination.
I spilled some chemical X into it, but it's anime, so it was chemical XXX.
Catalyst with a bunch of Z's from Mega Cat City.
So you're going fake, Kyle? Is that what you're saying?
SWAT Kappas.
Mm-hmm. I
Right,
believe.
Randy and Les are real. Kyle's fake. Kyle, you're right. I made this fucking shit up.
You made this up.
Oh, thank God.
All right, what you got to tell me is, are Koopas Kappas?
I don't know, Les. That you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. I'm not willing to go
Nintendo
back
mythology. Yeah,
you have to do some reading on the outside, Les.
This is actually inspired off of the. I mentioned the harem thing, a harem audiobook I did on this previously, right? Well, one of the guys I'm on the third book, and one of the guys turns out to be from a dimension where it's a matriarchy, and he's basically a slave. And I was like, this is awkward. But apparently it's not as bad as what I've enhanced it, so yeah, that's what was it? The final, what was it? The final link, the Gateway Saga. I forget what that actual book ledger is called. But if you ever wonder what I sound like fucking myself, wait a minute. If you've ever
Nope.
wondered what I sound like fucking me as a girl sounds like, no.
None
can
of this
find
is
it there.
I
good.
never had before, but as you keep stringing the words together, it won't leave my mind.
Yeah, no, you've scarred us. You've effectively scarred us for this week, Nick, and thank you for that. This seems like
I
a good
don't think
place
we're
to
up to
remind
brain
you.
scramblies, but it's pretty bad.
This is a good place to remind you that you can support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes and throwing us a fucking episode. In exchange, we get to keep our streaming services, pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. This week, we're talking about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We also have our $20 showrunner level, so if there are shows you want us to throw in the rotation, you can buy in at that level and give us a couple ideas.
Like what, Randy? What kind of ideas?
Well, later this month, we'll be talking about Psycho-Pass. Again, I can't stress this enough. Apparently, I really can't. It does not have to be anime or wrestling.
It has to be.
It could be animated, though, right?
It could be animated wrestling. Are there wrestling animated?
Have you seen anime wrestling? It's
it-
pretty intense. I mean, if you haven't, somebody
could
should definitely
be.
recommend it
Ultimate
to
Muscle,
you.
baby.
I feel like you guys are not hearing me.
No, I hear you. You'd rather an American animated show like Battletoads, right? And watch Rash, Zitz, and Pimple fight a weirdly sexually awakening Dark Queen for me as a child.
Again, I feel like the message I'm trying to get across is being lost a little bit. But the important thing is it does not have to be
It
anime.
could be SWAT cats.
It also does not have to be SWAT cats. There are shows that I
sure
will
could be,
happily
though.
watch. It could be. Technically, that is correct. It could be that.
I gotta-
We have AMC Plus now, which means we've got access to AMC, some of BBC America, some of Shudder. If someone wanted to make us watch something on those networks, that'd be great. That'd be a
Oh,
change
dude,
of pace.
what's a British Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles knockoff look like? All right, I got some research to do.
Actually, no, they do call them something different. They're not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're
tortoise.
shit. I gotta look it up but no, they literally do call them something different over
Lads on a half
Yes.
shell. They just drink a lot of tea. They're tea mutant
In
Ninja
betweener tortoises.
In betweener tortoises.
Adolescent amphibians.
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Oh, right,
Oh.
because the ninja had a negative connotation back in the 80s where people thought it was too violent. Hence them not using their weapons after the first 4 episodes in season 1.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah. That's too bad.
I am single, surprisingly.
TV could use more ninjas. It could definitely use more vampires too. Which brings us to our first show of the week. What We Do in the Shadows. Les, have you heard of this show?
I just got on board. I watch a lot of TV. I talk to people who watch a lot of TV, and nobody's ever brought this up. Not a single time, ever. One.
Yeah. Never been mentioned
one.
ever.
Oh boy, I hate you so much.
Yeah. So found this. Didn't know if y'all had heard about it. Texted on the text thread. Apparently you had. Yeah.
God,
No,
why
I
you like this?
seriously. I knew that this was. I mean, I liked the movie. I saw the pilot. It was great. And then I knew that this was going to be a wonderful show, and then I just let it pile up, and I almost wish I could have done the full Brooklyn Nine-Nine of have 6 or 7 years of it to do it once, because I literally I was like, oh cool, there's 3 seasons. Shit, we're on the 3rd. Oh, there's only 2. Okay, but I did get to tear through seasons 1 and 2, and yeah, God, it's a great show. And if you watch a lot of it in a row, it's hard to not talk like Laszlo in your normal life. Like, old chap, everything's got to have that Matt Berry confidence.
Well, what about when he goes undercover as Jackie Daytona?
Jackie Daytona.
That is still one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, God.
Just don't act like Laszlo in life, because you will get
When
slapped.
he gets so into volleyball, helping out the volleyball team, and
Yep.
and then of course Colin Robinson is just spectacular.
Oh yeah.
The running gags in it, like Nadia's doll, with the ghost of Nadia, just the running sinkhole gags and all the weird
Laszlo's hat.
Yeah. Oh God, that witch hat. And then I can't remember. He's from Greek and the Limitless TV show, but the guy that plays Jeff.
Oh yeah,
Gregor.
Gregor.
Yes, Jeff. It's Jeff Jesk or whatever your name is.
Oh, that whole thing in season 1, that season finale with Gregor, like that was the cherry on the sundae. I love that.
Yeah.
So I think that Guillermo has been this show's secret weapon all along. Like I love Matt Berry just like everybody else.
No, but
And
Guillermo makes the show.
but Guillermo's been the secret weapon, and they've really let him loose in season 3.
No,
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
he's
yeah.
the heart of the show basically, and
But the whole gag has been it's been very much a Cyril on Archer kind of thing, where basically the gag is that they are just treating him like shit. And now in season 3, we're seeing that he knows it, he's fine with it, and he's smarter than all of them.
Well, and it's
so,
starting to get
just
obvious
like,
that he's
he
in love
feels
with them.
bad for them. Like that's
Yeah,
why he's
yeah.
staying. Is that like
Yes.
he literally can get out of his cage. Like they're so piss poor at this that he gets out of his cage at night and does the housework around, and they just don't notice.
Literally puts out small fires and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kills vampire
funny-
assassins.
I would leave them, but I'm worried about what they would do without me. They're kind of helpless.
Yeah.
The actor who played Guillermo in the Q&A when they did season 1 at South by, he actually said the way he plays the character is somebody who's in a bad relationship where everybody can see it except for that person.
it comes off because like in when they, I think it's the newest episode when they keep putting on the cloak of duplication and going to hit on the gym worker.
Yes. Oh man, I love that.
And I love that they do the chauvinist thing of like, well, she's obviously not into guys, like from the start, and then at the end when she's like, but you know I'm not into guys, right?
Yeah, it turns
Like,
out she's not into
genuinely
guys.
not. Like
Actually
they
called it.
also were failing horribly at any level of human interaction, but
Yep.
but they really like when Guillermo like he spends the entire time talking about Nandor and like they're
Yeah.
so obvious that like, oh wow, yeah, you're in a really one-sided relationship. Holy shit.
It's like, oh wait, I'm not in love with him. I'm like, are you not though?
Are you
Like,
not? I love that
go
she
back and
sees it
listen
of
to
like,
the last 2 minutes
like-
of this conversation.
yeah, and she catches it immediately, like, oh,
Yeah.
sweetie.
And then Colin Robinson feels like we may be getting a little bit of the energy vampire history here.
I love that.
Or maybe not. Maybe that was just a bit. I don't
love
know.
that. I mean, they've kept up with it though, like that he just doesn't know shit about where he came from, and none of them seem to. Like
Yeah.
he meets another
No.
energy vampire who's also like, yeah, I don't know, I never thought about it
Yeah.
before, dude.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know where this comes from.
That he knows I mean that he's actually not human, even though he can walk in the day and a lot of the vampire rules. He's not human,
Yeah.
but he has no idea if anything bit him or what.
Right.
Dude, are you
I
feeding off me?
I love that. No, I would never. I
Yeah.
would never though. I love that the other energy vampire he meets just knows a bunch of shit about weed.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That was great.
I can go on, and I do.
Also, Kristen Shaw is
Oh,
always a
man,
delight whenever
yeah.
she shows up. But her as their liaison with the Vampire Council,
Having a way to bring her in to be around them more. When I realized that, like, oh crap, that's what this sets up. She's
Yeah.
their helper now, and they're useless.
Yeah.
But hey, it's above my pay grade.
What if Mabel was a vampire?
That vampire council, I love that being. I mean, back in the first season, I love that being just a who's who, both of comedians they know, but also because like that's like you just suddenly got like a bunch of the people that are ancillary to the show got to put on makeup and be in the council. But then
Mhm.
anybody who's ever played a damn vampire,
Yes.
like Tilda Swinton is there, Wesley Snipes is there.
Wesley
I forgot
Snipes
who-
is on Skype.
Yeah, it was on Skype. I think like
Wesley Scipes.
yeah, Tom Hiddleston and Tom Cruise don't make it, and Brad Pitt doesn't. But like they start naming off who's
Yep.
not there.
Yeah. Just delightful.
Man, I love this
and-
show.
And continues to get better as it goes along, I think. I think this season is fantastic so far.
Yeah, everything about this works. I just absolutely love this.
Don't sing if you want to live long. They have no use for your song. You're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead and out of this world. You'll never get a second chance. Plan all your moves in advance. Stay dead, stay dead, stay dead, stay dead and out of this world.
You guys want to keep talking about vampires?
Sure. Are there more
That's all I
shows
wanna
with
talk about.
vampires?
There's another vampire show. Well, it's vampires now. It's going to be aliens
We're
later.
finally going to talk
But
about the
that's-
originals.
It's American Horror Story double feature, this is my first American Horror Story I've watched since the very first episode of season 1.
Wow.
And now I kind of want to go back and watch all of them because this has been just really great so far.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It's really fun. I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
It's dark as fuck, but it's really funny.
Well, the meta writer thing of like, where does your muse come from? Oh, it's this drug we take, and then tying that to some crazy supernatural shit is really fun.
Yeah,
You were saying
and having Frances Conroy come on and do the she was giving me some Peggy Haplin energy there.
That was supposed to be apparently that role was supposed to be Kathy Bates.
Oh
really?
wow,
that would work too.
Bates had a health problem and couldn't commit to the. I'm not sure what went on, but couldn't commit to it. So
Conroy's great.
In.
Yeah, Conroy's. And Evan Peters, man, I've only ever seen this guy in the Marvel Universe and the X-Men universe. I did not know he had this level. I love him.
Oh, dude, wait till you watch him play Lobster Hands.
I really associate him with American Horror Story, and it was weird to see him be Quicksilver.
Yeah, that's all I know this dude from. He's the American Horror Story guy to me.
Yeah,
he's this. I mean, the version of him that was in WandaVision who's playing this like sleazy guy. This is very much the version he's playing, like the boner that dude. Yeah, this feels like sleazy, Evan Peters. I'm loving it. I like Discount Matt Bomer, who's the lead. I don't know what his actual name is.
Ben Whitrock. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like Jai Courtney. I mean, like they just grew a dude and then used a random name generator and.
Yeah. You can't convince me that that's not Matt Bomer's younger brother. It's just like he's like, they couldn't get my brother, and so they got me. It's what I think is going on. But the bit of them like not only just taking the pills and then like needing blood, but then like going out, having to go to a cosmetic surgeon to get sharp teeth installed.
Going to Carrie Fisher's kid. That's Billy Lord, I think.
Yep, it is Billy Lord, who I always.
And I love that she like takes her caps off and like, oh no, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
like,
which is such an insane thing. Like I thought they just grew the teeth, but like no, they did it so it's more efficient to kill. And I'm like,
that's what I thought too.
Though?
I thought the pills made you do that, like that made your teeth. Because my first thought was the guys with the people with no talent is what they're telling them who took the pill and turned into this. I don't know if that happens instantly or what, but who files their teeth down?
It's like
or are their teeth just sharp nubs that eroded over time? Because like
sharks, all animals have the shredders when they shred meat. I'm like, yeah, but you only drink blood, so you don't really need you need 2 of those. Like vampires get by with 2.
Until Conroy's character and Evan Peters' character said that they, with Austin and Bell, said that they took part of the year off from it. I thought what happened was if you run out, you're one of the street creepies.
Oh yeah,
and that's where honestly I thought, God, I can't think of the actress's name. She's also in all the
Sarah Paulson.
I alternately love and hate that actress, very depending on the role. But I really thought that she had been taking them and gone off them.
Yeah,
and that doesn't seem to have been the case. And I was really surprised at how quickly kind of her character went away after the first episode.
Me too. But I liked her, and she was unrecognizable. Like at first, I was like, wait, I looked it up IMDb, and I'm like, oh, that's Sarah Paulson.
I was
Holy
looking
shit.
for her because I'm like, we don't do an American Horror Story season without you. Where are you?
But
also, how about Macaulay Culkin?
Oh man, he's so good in it. I love that guy anyway. But holy shit,
playing a burned out male prostitute who wants to be a scriptwriter, and also the agent, who immediately comes in and just embodies the worst of Hollywood. She finds out about these pills that turns people into vampires, and she's not horrified or anything. She just wants to get her hands on them.
Fine.
She's like, I want to be the supplier for this shit.
I did like that she puts it together that no. The guy I rep is average. Like he works around on networks or whatever, and I basically sign him to go around and other stuff. He's not Maestro. Something weird is happening here.
Yeah.
Yep. She figures out very quickly, and then I thought it was gonna be a thing where she figured out and they had to kill her, but no. She figures it out, and then she's like, I want a piece of this.
I want all of it. Yep.
Well, she's down for royalties and percentages. Like, hey, down to the pill makers, like, I can get you 10% of all their post-pill revenue stream.
And I love that the pill maker almost immediately goes and flips on her, and it's just like, no. I mean, I heard her offer. It's a great offer. That way is growing with ambition like that is how this all ends. I just want to
Yeah,
stay
you
right
can't
here.
attract that much attention,
Yeah.
otherwise
It's like
this
the
all
first
gets
time
destroyed.
that I've heard somebody in like a drug horror type movie go
Yeah.
like make the absolute rational thing of like, no, ambition's how this all goes apart. No.
They're like, yeah, I don't need the money that bad.
This level of what we're doing right now is exactly the level we want to keep it
Yeah.
at, because it's
One
low enough
last
to where we can get
score.
away with
Nope,
it.
I'm walking away now. Yeah.
Yep.
The
You leave with the
absolute
penultimate score.
best thing that the season is doing though, and you knew it was going to happen from all the way through the second episode, but the end of episode 2, the daughter takes one of those pills.
Yeah.
And I like both hands in the air, like, okay, we are on now. Because by the end of episode 3, the daughter's saying all the shit that the dad won't let himself say. Like,
yeah,
Mhm.
it's
flat out
fucked
going,
up.
why don't we ditch mom? You know, she's just a regular
Yeah.
person, and regular people could vanish off the planet. Who fucking cares? And the
Yeah,
dad's
she's
like,
not a great artist. She's not a great mom. So what's why? And
What are we
she's
doing
like,
with it?
well, she loves us. Well, what's that worth? Fuck her.
the daughter's just, and like the daughter's so ready to be a vampire, like this near dark shit. I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, her killing, like the daughter just being you can see it coming. That like, oh,
The dad
gonna
is
be-
having way more moral crisis of killing and accepting this than the daughter. The daughter
Yeah.
is on
Mhm.
board so fast. I'm thinking there was something wrong with her beforehand.
Oh yeah, for sure.
well, there's none of this like, do I deserve to be great if the price is like the daughter's just like I want to be better. It's frustrating. I want to do it now.
Well, this she's a young kid, and let me tell you something about as someone who's raised 2 young kids and has
They're
been around a bunch
monsters?
of kids. They're all sociopaths, all of
Tiny
them,
hitters.
until
Wow.
at least till teenager. They're all sociopaths, so this makes total sense.
Good lord. Okay.
There's a whole Donald Glover bit of
Yeah.
like that, like all of childhood is learning empathy, and so like the younger you
Yep.
get, the like more like you can't say that to people. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. If
the
you,
insults that'll come out of a 5-year-old's mouth are like, oh Jesus.
yeah, the only reason 5-year-olds don't cause suicides is because they're too young to learn all the good insults. Like
Oh,
you
sure.
just don't. Yeah,
Or what was it?
Yeah.
Gina on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I was name checked in my kindergarten's teacher's suicide note.
yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
So
forgot
this
about
kid is
that.
just Gina as a kid.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a delight. I'm excited. I can't wait to see the second half. It's going to be weird, like FBI alien shit. So
Oh yeah.
but-
Also,
but I'm-
I got to hear Francis Conroy say the line, "The vitamin D I'm looking for doesn't come from the sun." Oh, so good. I want to fuck
Crazy.
her
Yep.
right now.
Crazy hornball Francis Conroy is just amazing.
yep,
And I am
Yeah,
into it.
she's
I'm
great.
down. Will she eat me afterwards? Probably, but you know what? Worth
absolutely,
it.
she will.
Her complaining about getting a meth high off Macaulay Culkin. So great.
Yes. Oh man. Well, if there are any eligible vampires out there listening, Nick's into it.
For sure. Not energy vampires. I'm not into that.
Let's talk about the last murder show for the week. Let's talk about Only Murders in the Building. I think we had mixed expectations on this. Les, you said you were kind of surprised how much you enjoyed it. I'm not at all surprised how much I enjoyed this.
I don't just not like Woody Allen personally, but like I don't really care for Woody Allen movies. Like if you're not Wes Anderson, I could give a shit about your Twee New York fetish. I didn't
Yeah.
watch that Martin Scorsese Aren't We Droll thing with whoever. I just generally don't care.
Yeah, I didn't know if you know this, Woody Allen, but not a whole lot of us in the world don't actually live in New York.
I also don't give a shit about Woody Allen in New York, but what I do care about is when Steve Martin writes something.
And then
Oh, for
that,
sure.
but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be. It could just be incredibly erudite. Like or
But it's
I
I don't
may
know.
not even be saying
like
that
the
word
ol-
properly.
The only thing I think that Steve Martin's written that I didn't love is Bowfinger, and even that is
I
fun.
liked Bowfinger, but I came into this and it opens like a New Yorker
Gotcha.
magazine
Yes.
piece, and I was like, I don't know. The last couple of things I've seen Martin Short in, he seems like he's trying so hard that it's
Yeah.
difficult to put up. And within 10 minutes of the first episode, I realized that
Yep.
like by the time they introduced all 3 of them and they were so drastically different,
Yep.
I was like, all right, I'm sold. This is really, really well done. And then by the end of the first episode, I was absolutely hooked.
Where I was hooked on it was when Steve Martin is on the street, like the first 5 minutes of the episode. Someone recognizes him off the street. And then
Oh,
Yeah.
they go
God.
into this. They go into this like, "Oh, my father really loved you," he's got ALS now. Yeah, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
sorry.
It was such a dark way. Yeah,
It's-
it was
Do you
so
want
dark.
to not
it
even a
has
picture
nothing to
with
do
them?
like this guy is obviously going through something, and it has nothing to do with Steve Martin's character. But it's like,
Yep.
yeah, he's in hospice right now, but he's holding on. Even though it would be better for our family if he didn't. Would you like a
I
picture?
think-
Yes,
Tell
you
your
would
dad
love
I
it.
took that picture. I will, but he
Fuck.
won't
I was-
understand it.
I was laughing at that. That got me, and I was in from that. But where they really hooked me is when the fire happened, and they all went down to the restaurant, and they were like, they didn't want to have their meet cute. None of them wanted to know each other.
No.
But they're all obsessed with the same
Mhm.
murder podcast, and I was like, oh man, I love this.
You've been at
I
that
love the
party
way-
where you heard someone say that, like, you don't want to talk to anybody, but someone said something about the Silver
Lost.
Age Silver Surfer, and you're like, well, wait a
Right.
minute, what?
Yeah, yeah.
I can tell how long
What
ago
were you-
since I went to parties regularly, but that was Lost for like 3 years, I think.
It's like if someone at a party said, like, you know what, I really love that Mighty Ducks cartoon. I've been like, well, I know where I'm spending the next hour.
I would just somebody pointed out how entertaining it was that the three of them are all listening to podcasts and not doing anything else, which is the most unbelievable thing about this show.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody just sits there and listens to a podcast.
They're all like, they're the people who get out their own maps and are like into it and are trying to solve
Are
it.
you telling
Yeah.
me? Are you telling me the people listening to our podcast right now are doing something else? Hey, pay attention,
I only
fuckers!
speak at this low a volume
Dude.
because people watch us at 1.5.
Mandy, get off that Peloton. Devote your attention, damn it.
Wait, is Peloton a kind of anime? I don't know what.
Yeah,
yes,
super
Randy,
weird.
You'll watch it. It's on for next week.
Never skip anime leg day.
This was actually not Woody Allen. This was John Hoffman,
Yeah,
who
it's
wrote
not
on
Woody
Grace
Allen.
and Frankie.
It's just very. It's
Oh, you
just
guys were
very
just
New
making
York.
a New
Yeah, it's
York
just super
joke?
New York.
Yes, no, yeah.
When it
yeah,
started
that's
out,
what
I
I'm
was
saying.
just like, yeah, I skip a lot of movies that look like this.
Kyle, that's why joke is.
Yeah.
Yes, if
Oh.
if Woody Allen was actually involved, this was never made on
yeah.
the fucking
I don't
schedule.
think it would have made the
Yeah,
schedule.
No,
No, I just meant that like when it started up, it had that New Yorker Sunday insert kind of vibe, and I was like, man, I skip a lot of shit that looks like this.
but it's part of the gag. Like it's part of the
that's
gag.
like this show is so smartly done. It when they start doing the meta thing of I am watching a show about a murder that is also about characters obsessed with a show about a murder,
Mhm.
and they're doing the meta thing of like, well, in the second episode of the podcast, we're going to want to really, make the audience fall in love with the victim. And you realize that like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the second episode of this show, which is about,
Yeah.
it's the one titled Tim Kono.
Kono.
Yeah. And it's,
Yeah, but the
It's-
episode is about
Who
how no one
is?
likes this fucking guy.
It's very clever, and I mean, not that I would expect anything different from Steve Martin. I don't know Hoffman as a writer, but I also think that Martin Short is really getting to show some depth here, like as a dramatic actor. Like,
the thing with his son was great.
or he's talking to his son. Yeah, it's like it's such a level of pathetic that's really impressive. I'm like, man, this guy, he doesn't want to be this, but he is this, and he's just, yeah, it's really good.
When he says, "Can I please have my coat?" It's just like you're just like, "Oh fuck!"
But when he steps onto the porch and you see the half smile when he gets the ding about the murder,
yeah,
that like we found something, and like you see
Yeah.
Only thing going on in his
life come back into him just a little bit, and they call back. Usually, I hate cheesy shit like this doesn't work for me, but they call to the
falling
play
off
that he
the
was
stairs.
talking about of the guy
Yeah,
walking up
yeah.
the stairs and falling onto a trampoline and like bouncing back up. And
Mhm.
and
Yep.
Short does that. They do it for each character, but Short does that off
That shit
the
was fun.
thing. I thought that was beautiful. And it's the kind of thing that usually is like at the 6th episode of this 6-episode miniseries. This
Mhm.
thing's longer than that, but like that feels like an end of the series kind of flex. And
Yeah,
and they were. This feels really sure from the start. I was mad that Hulu didn't drop it all at once.
yeah, me too. I'm glad I got what 3, but man, yeah, I want more. Also, Selena Gomez. I've never seen her in a lot of stuff, but she is holding her own here. She's great.
Absolutely. I mean, alongside 2 absolute legends. So, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody in this cast is really solid, though.
Yeah, Nathan Lane, Amy Ryan is barely in it so far, but I can't wait to see more of her.
I love like all the people who work in the building and all the people who are at the memorial service or whatever, which I got the impression was just to see who was going to get the apartment.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
yeah,
one's
for
there
sure.
to mourn Tim.
No,
Yeah.
no. And I love the solid, like, consistent, no one likes Steve Martin. And
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that it's not like it's a universal assumed thing. Like they keep slowly discovering that, like, Jesus, dude, does no one like you? And
Well, he
Yeah.
said he doesn't tip, and I'm like,
oh,
you
because he
fucking
thinks it's
idiot.
elitist,
Yeah.
and so what he does instead is
Yep.
give out autographed headshots.
Yes.
Fuck
It's like,
you.
oh, fuck you, man.
Yep.
And I love that, like,
Yes.
Martin Short's making headway getting the folder from the building super lady, and like she clearly likes him. Like they've got a rapport, and Steve
Yeah,
Martin
and he
comes
comes
around
down.
that corner, and it shuts
Yep.
down. Like she's like, "Is he with you? Fuck all y'all."
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
Fuck
Yep.
you.
it's so good.
No, it's because I respect you. Stop respecting me so much.
Stop respecting me so much.
Yeah. I can't wait for there's some reveal about Steve Martin's. I don't know if he's widowed or if his wife left him because he's so obnoxious.
I think
or
there's a
if
fourth
it's,
episode
like,
out that you may not have seen.
Oh, I've not seen the
Okay,
fourth episode.
yeah.
No.
Oh, they go into it.
He goes into it.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say there was one mistake in that level of like that episode because I thought it was funny when he looks the other way and sees Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig mascots, and then goes into the room, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And he tells a really long story about his previous relationship that ends with the Bugs and Porky thing coming into it. And I was like, okay, I get that and why it was funny, but also I was having a hard time concentrating on that conversation because I was trying to figure out what the fuck
What
that
the
Porky
fuck?
and Bugs thing was.
But also
Like-
he lied about that entire father thing to
Did he,
Selena
though?
Gomez outside the door. That was
Because he said
Yeah,
later that he made it up.
or did he? I don't know. I
because
don't
he said
know.
that that was the only thing they let him write.
Yeah.
okay,
And
or
that
it's
sounds
true in the
sad
show.
enough
That's
for it to
right.
be true.
That's right.
Also,
Yeah.
it was a thing where when she was saying that, it made me realize because the whole time when she finds that out in that episode, you're like, oh yeah, he's lying. But then when she says it, I go, oh no, she's lying. And we don't actually know
Well,
if
I
he's
like
we
it 'cause
know she's lying,
Martin
but we
Short
don't know if
says
he's
you
lying.
can
He is,
tell when
yeah.
he's acting.
Yeah.
Trust me.
And so that's like the only
Yeah.
true thing
Mhm.
he ever got to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
That's
you're
why
right.
she's telling that story. It's believable.
She's worried about it because she's actually the one
Mhm.
lying. So of course she's going to be more
Yeah.
critical of other people.
Right.
I
Yeah.
love that the bassoon player is Holly from The Office.
Yeah.
Like she's my favorite
Yeah.
character on The Office. I think like she's the thing that most broke my heart in that show of like that I wanted to work out was her and Michael.
I knew her from The Wire, and she's fantastic in The Wire.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then
Yeah.
she's great on The Office. which
guys,
I forgot about The Office.
I hate to break your heart, but
Acting?
I think sooner or later she's going to turn out to be the killer.
Oh no, Sting is going to be the killer. I haven't seen episode 4 yet.
Oh, that'd be
Sting
good.
isn't going to be the killer. You know Sting isn't going to be the killer.
But the balls to actually suggest that Sting might be the killer is
I love
it.
that they
I
really
love
get
that. And-
Sting. I love that it's the real Sting.
Yeah.
It's just
You
great.
poisoned my dog.
Yep.
Got a dog and I don't
Great.
like it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
am shocked how much I enjoyed this. I feel like this could have gone real wrong.
You want to know how much me and Les enjoyed this? He texted me when he was first watching it that it felt like a Muppet Caper movie remake. And we
I was like-
decided to cast and write a whole new Muppet
Yeah.
remake off of this.
I was like, hey, Steve Martin and Martin Short just feel like they could be Muppets at this point, and
Steve
I get
Martin is
that.
Kermit
Yeah.
and Martin Short
Yeah,
is
I mean,
Fozzie.
I
yeah,
get that.
but so Steve Martin's and Martin Short's Fozzie, Selena Gomez would be the human. She'd play herself, and the Happiness Hotel, and they have a murder in it. And yeah, Nick and I had to finally we have to stop this text thread. There is no way that we are writing a
This is
Muppet
a
movie.
pointless
This would
exercise.
be the most pointless spec script possible to write. Like, don't do this.
We already fix a script every week for no money. We can't just make up one whole cloth.
It went on a real long thread, though. It really did.
Yeah, this is looking like favorite TV for the year kind of stuff. I'm very excited to see how
Yeah,
it
I'm
all
enjoying
plays
the
out.
shit out of this.
Yeah, it was okay, but I think you missed a note there.
I think that was your note. You
I know
missed.
the last note was you.
Please, I haven't missed a note in 3 years.
Yeah, more like 3 seconds.
Speaking of favorite TV, it's time for double desserts, guys. I don't know what's going to happen when we don't have double desserts anymore. We got about 6 more weeks of it, I want to say, but
There is like a weird depression that slips in when the like water cooler TV dries up. Like when Game of Thrones would end, you'd always hit that lull where it's like, oh, what are we doing now, guys?
I gotta say, I am a big fan of the Double Ds.
The last couple of weeks have kind of been that for me. Superman and Lois ended. Good Fight ended. Just a couple of things left holes in my like waking up and going, oh, it's Thursday. What comes out of nothing anymore? Fuck.
Well, don't you feel better not having to deal with an ethical crisis from Good Fight every fucking week?
But I wanted it to keep resolving. Like I wanted all of them to die for their sins or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Les, you weren't here last week. We didn't talk about TV Diary about the Good Fight and its finale and all that. We probably have to check
They went
back
Cabin
in
in the Woods on it. Like,
yeah, when Evil wraps, we'll have to check in on the King shows. But Ted Lasso, I'm gonna be very sad when Ted Lasso ends because every week it is like this little bit of joy. And seriously, it's like fucking therapy for me at this point. Like I watch it and I want to be a better person. And I believe that the world is good. And I believe we're not all doomed. And I don't know what's going to happen when I don't get that half-hour burst.
This is one of, I mean, not that they have dark episodes. This is one of their, I feel like, most serious dark episodes. And I think it's that they're really having Ted go through shit.
They let Ted actually be mean. Not him pretending to be mean, but actually like, because Ted is so emotionally smart.
Swing at her. Yeah.
He takes a swing, and that's the thing. As I have that similar feeling of like when you feel empathy for others, you also there's a flip side of that to where you can feel what will hurt them the most to say.
Yeah.
The therapist comes back later like, yeah, that was pretty fucked up. I got to admit, like I'm a therapist and hear a lot of shit. That was actually really hurtful.
And I love that she turns it around on him of like, would you coach for free? Absolutely. Do you?
Yep.
No.
Yeah,
no, man.
I thought that was great too. Like she's the great thing is she is a match for Ted. Like you want someone who is smart enough to keep up with him, and I liked her basically being like, yeah, that's a really hurtful and dumb thing for you to have said. It doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. And then she says, I don't assume all coaches are macho dickheads, and I love that he's like, you got me. That's a fair burn.
Well, no, because he didn't say it to be right. He said it to be mean. Like, it didn't matter how true it was. He was just, no, I just wanted to hurt your feelings.
Right.
When she told him, I knew you'd be back. And he goes, oh, why is that? And she says, because you said you don't quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of that. I'm listening,
I loved all three of the things. I love the bit where he's like nervous motor mouth and then just kind of just kind of leaves. And then I loved him. I honestly love seeing Ted righteously angry. Like, I understand that bit. I have definitely had that time where I'm like, fuck this. I don't want to do therapy. Why am I paying you to listen to me? I understand that mood. And seeing him like lash out and be mad about it, I kind of was like, yeah, I get this, even though he's obviously deflecting.
And the show giving it space to not make it have to be one conversation that suddenly somehow brings Ted around on therapy.
Yes.
And gets all of his problems solved and letting him have these little like, fuck, I'm out, and bail moments it gave it space and made it a lot more realistic. Honestly, Ted's gonna come through it fine. Nate's scaring the shit out of me.
Oh man, I'm so worried about Nate. I like the bit with him and Beard. I like that Beard basically kind of quietly took him aside, fixed that, but then Nate found another target, and I'm like, man. Bill Lawrence tweeted about this. He said something about that. He's like, in my experience, people who go through this sort of abuse from, parents or whoever, they either become a shining light or they repeat the pattern. And I'm worried about where he's taking Nate.
He finds someone smaller than him. And it really is when he reads that tweet where that says like, he still seems like kind of a loser. And then he immediately goes and I'm like, that's what makes you a loser, Nate. Is that people can get you like that. That's why you're not... You have a loser mindset that you feel like you have to do this.
Even when you're pumped up, it's just thin as tinfoil on him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love that Beard magic's into the room and out.
Fantastic.
He ninjas in that shit. I don't know where the fuck he went.
I also love them playing with us with Sam and Rebecca.
Oh.
That basically they do that bit in the hallway where there's chemistry. I don't know where they're going with that, but I love that we know and they don't know. Like that's been great fun so far.
God, I know this won't happen, but I hope they never figure out it's them because it's just going to be a disaster.
Yeah. My My favorite thing, though, as always, Roy fucking Kent.
Do you prefer him here, there, or every fucking where?
Oh, and we get
Every
another
fucking
level-headed Jamie moment too.
That was I
Okay.
love the way that plays out. So basically, his whole thing of like being around Keeley, you can see again, they are so fucking good at this. They are showing us a thing so that we can see it. The characters can't see it. And it's believable the characters don't see it in a way that we do absolutely see it.
Because like he has that conversation with Keeley earlier. So when he goes into that rant of trusting his teammate, and I'm like, I can't tell him like, wait, do you know what you're saying and how prophetic it is?
And he gets there like a couple of words later of like, fuck.
Jamie has no idea what he's doing.
Like
he is, just saying.
Are you an idiot savant of some type? Because you are saying the exact right thing now, and I think you don't know it.
Jamie is just saying things for Jamie. Jamie is still, he's gotten better, but he's still all about Jamie. There's no part of him that is like, oh, this is applicable to Roy and Keeley's situation.
Well, he
doesn't know Roy and Keeley. When he stops looking at Roy and Keeley, they stop existing.
When he's coming into that room to talk to him and they end up talking about Roy, he's talking about making his name on his thing bigger on his jersey.
Yes. He doesn't, no one else exists but Jamie. And what I love is that Roy is smart enough though and emotionally mature enough that he sees it and he realizes what Jamie has just told him, and he's not only pissed that he's fucked up with Keeley. He's pissed that he's realized the thing. He's pissed that fucking Jamie is the one who told him.
Yeah, he's mad that Jamie got there first.
That must be a hurtful blow.
And he conveys all three levels of that with a well-placed fuck. Like
I whistle
exactly what he's thinking.
Whistle. Why don't you actually just? I told you, cheap metals make me.
I have an allergy to cheap metals.
I'm just saying the CGI creation they've got playing Roy Kent is fantastic.
I've seen.
Y'all know about this,
No,
right?
and I've seen a photo of that man actually smiling with teeth, and it's horrifying.
Oh, I don't like that.
There's a theory going around on Twitter that Roy Kent is a CGI creation.
What's funny about that is the actor is one of the writers on the show.
Yes. Yeah. I am pretty sure it's just a Twitter in-joke. It's not that someone believes
it's like
but,
there's only one Olsen twin.
And anyone in a relationship, if you sit in a room while someone else is doing something else and you're reading, fucking stop it. You are not as quiet as you think you are.
No.
Oh, man. Yeah, she was so right to yell at him. I mean, and maybe we are the TV dudes, so maybe, but if I'm watching TV, I'm fucking watching TV. I don't want to talk about your book.
Let me watch Sex in the City, goddammit.
Let me watch Sex in the City. God, Nick, you're such a carry.
I don't care what's happening in the Da Vinci Code.
Oh my God. He plows through that book too. It's great. The chapters are so short, you can't stop.
You can't put it down.
Yeah. Amazing show. I cry at it every week. I laugh every week. It is seriously, it is like 30 minutes of TV therapy every week. I fucking love it. And then on the flip side, on the darker side, getting darker, is Marvel's What If, which, Jesus, I thought the murder mystery and Doctor Strange Destroying the Multiverse was dark, but they straight up zombie apocalypse this bitch.
See, this one is kind of dark, but also silly, kind of like the Marvel Zombies comics is.
I was going to say how little it is like the Marvel Zombies comics, and I think that's a good thing.
And like there's only a couple things, like there's the Black Panther later in the
that whole
IV thing where he's getting chopped up. That's kind of from the comics. But everything else is pretty much MCU specific.
The zombies aren't evil and talky. Like the thing that Robert Kirkman did is he had them all be like, they're not just like mindless zombies. They're all evil. Yeah. They're all evil bastards, and they're sadistic and they enjoy eating people. And that's just a level beyond what I want to see. And I'm glad they didn't go that route. I like that they basically went the mindless zombies route. Like they can still use their powers, but they're pretty mindless.
Yeah, I thought that was funny that they're still basically themselves. They just have one drive now.
Yeah.
Well, also they linked it to Janet Van Dyne being a quantum thing, and I think
very, very clever.
I had a moment where I was wondering if they were going to allow Hulk, like if they were going to say that Hulk's immune because Hulk has doesn't have the same kind of mind to it, because it was some kind of mental virus thing.
Right.
Sure.
Oh no, I just love that, like not only zombie movies, but like zombie video games. There was just this really clear progression in not only like our survivors power set, thinking of like Bucky getting the shield, Hope's big moment at the end, but then also in like the elevating of the threat. like personally, the whole show, like when it started, I was like, well, fuck, if Scarlet Witch gets bit, everybody's
Yeah.
fucked. Like,
Yeah.
how are you going to stop that? And then when we got to see it, it's like, oh yeah. And then all the way to the end where it's like, well, they're not beating that.
That's one of the things. That's the other thing I love about this is that they went all the protagonists are like on the low power scale. Like all the Avengers got bitten, and so like their powerhouse is Spider-Man, but it's like Happy Hogan, Sharon Carter, Winter Soldier, Okoye, like
Polka Dot Man.
Not, but they had the lower power scale guys, and I loved that, and I thought that was a really cool way to sort of have the threat.
Oh, Ant-Man in a head in a jar, Futurama style later.
That was hilarious.
Oh, so good.
And with the cloak on him.
I don't understand the science of that. I don't know how you bring him back to life and he's not dead, but I don't care.
It's just a reference because they did the similar thing in the Marvel Zombies where it was Janet Van Dyne had a headless zombie or whatever that they cured of her hunger later, and they like got her a regular body. I think I forget.
Yeah,
but
and I love that Scott doesn't know that T'Challa's in the basement. He's like, I swear I didn't know about that.
I didn't know. Yeah.
Well, I didn't think you were wandering around investigating, Scott.
Hope exploding Sharon Carter and like I'm covered in Sharon.
Yep, that was great.
Which is great. But my absolute favorite moment of the episode was Giant Hope as they're flying the quad jet away, and you see her, and like I had a moment of like, oh fuck. I mean, I don't know how dark a what if's gonna end.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like, she's about to throw something at the quad jet, and no, she just picks one zombie up. And you hear that guy go, oh,
just out of spite.
He just hits the
what
side
a great
of it.
Gag! That was so good. That cracked me up.
That was beautifully done.
Also, I thought there's some great moments in here. Like there's What If has been really good, but it hasn't had like the MCU like grabbing me by the throat moments. And I thought this one, Peter Parker talking about how he still smiles and what Mary Jane, what Aunt May told him, like that's a Marvel moment.
Keep
I love
smiling
that
for me.
And then
that's what I remember from this episode is that line.
And then T'Challa, fucking Chadwick Boseman from Beyond the Grave saying, "In my culture, death is not the end."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what struck me. Was like, wow,
Yeah.
y'all had Chadwick Boseman record those lines before he died. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like everyone gets a chance to be really cool and powerful. Like Spider-Man gets that like I'm gonna lift a train thing.
They do the opposite of the Spider-Man 2.
Yes,
where he,
absolutely. Yeah.
I thought that too of like he's getting the train started rather than trying to stop it.
Yeah.
And and I like Janet and her aunts like eat the zombies.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is a thing they don't do again for some reason, even though that was very effective. Very pitch meeting like, but whatever.
But they're going to use that through the whole thing. Nope, never going to see it again.
Bucky still gets to become Cap. Like, he gets to have that face on Cap, get the shield. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is just like, this is really cool.
I got to be honest, I was not looking forward to this episode because I was hoping it would be good, but I haven't loved. I've read all the Marvel Zombies comics. They're solid.
They're very
the latest
silly.
ones they did were pretty good, but and they did a more serious one recently. A new writer, Philip Kennedy Johnson, did a run that was just a 4-issue series, but it was good and it took it more seriously, but it still wasn't like great. This was really, really good. This is kind of like, oh, now I understand why you would do this kind of concept. And as a what if, as a one-off, I thought it was really good. It's probably my second favorite after Sharon Carter.
I think it's my least favorite of the.
Oh, it's high on my list too. Yeah, I was surprised at that.
Or
I think
Peggy Carter,
Captain Carter, probably, yeah.
Captain Carter, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the trick is you got to have a Carter in your what if, and that's what makes me like it.
No shit. Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, yeah, this was really good. I'm looking forward to more of it.
Are we going to do a ranking at the end of the season? Are we going to each come up with our own what if ranking?
I mean, we could do that. I'm up for.
That'd be fun.
It's always good to rank your lists.
Kind of like we rank our MCU favorites.
I think we've definitely got different. I mean, all the what ifs are good so far, but I think we've definitely got different rankings.
Yeah.
Between Shang-Chi and this episode, like Wong is really getting some time to shine as a
he is.
alive and dead zombie.
I was shocked that Wong.
He's
was
the new Coulson.
That's right. Basically,
he is. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you, TV dudes.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, dudes.
Yeah, thanks, dudes. Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, zombies.
Thank you to our listeners. Thank you to our patrons. Reminder that you can go over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us a buck an episode. In exchange, you get all our bonus content. This week, you can listen to our thoughts on Shang-Chi. And until next time.
TV Dudes out!
Brains.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.